Welcome to the iOgrapher podcast with your host, Dave Basulto. Create amazing stories using your iPad or iPhone. iOgrapher Nation, get ready to click, point, and create. And now, here's Dave Basulto.
Hey everybody, Dave Basulto, iOgrapher Podcast. This is episode 4, October 19th, 2014. And lots going on today's show. Really excited to have Nick Mattingly. He's the CEO, founder of SwitcherStudio, which is the multi-camera app that I use now for streaming and for just doing multi-cam work. They're doing some exciting things over there. So we're going to have Nick on the show to talk about what's going on and some of his insights. Also, Apple had some massive announcements this week, which are super exciting for us here at iOgrapher. We're really excited about the new iPad Air 2, and I've gotten a ton of emails and stuff on the Facebook page. Is iOgrapher making an iPad 2 Air case? Well, let's look at this. The iPad Air 2 is the exact same specs as the iPad Air, except it's a little bit thinner, so it's smaller, skinnier, I should say. So what that's going to do is going to cause us to have a little bit of being loose within the case. So what we're going to do, we're testing them out. We just ordered them. We should have them this week. I believe Tuesday they're getting shipped. And we're going to test some neoprene padding that we're going to make, some custom-made padding that you would actually put in the iOgrapher first and then put the iPad over that, and then it would fit really snugly into the current case. And of course, if that's not going to work, then we're going to do everything we can to make the iPad Air 2 case, the current case, fit the iPad Air, because I believe the iPad Air 2 is the go-to device. It is amazing. The current one, I mean, they can change it at any time, but what I love about it is it's using the new A8 chip that is, I mean, it's 64-bit architecture, an M8 motion coprocessor. I mean, it's super fast. Of course, both the Mini and the Mini 3 and the new iPad Air 2 have a fingerprint sensor, which is cool because I use that all the time. Especially love it when I'm going to download an app real quick and I'm like, and you know, maybe on the fly I want to get something to do in a production, and I have to sit there and type in all my information. I just use my thumb and it's good to go. Bad news is someone can cut off my thumb and make me a very poor man. But the new camera is great on the Air 2. It's the 8 megapixel camera. I believe it's similar to the iPhone. And it's got burst mode, which is cool. Didn't have that before. And what I really love is it's got video stabilization and slow motion video. So you can now do slow-mo video using your iPad, which is something that I've been dying to have since I started having it on my iPhone. So super excited about the iPad Air 2. The iPad Mini 3, biggest change is that it's come up with a fingerprint ability on that. Nothing really much bigger under the hood. It seems like everything's very similar as it was before. Same resolution, retina display, etc. The cool thing about them announcing the iPad Mini 3, in my opinion, is that for those people out there just looking to get into this whole space, to make some cool content, I mean, don't overlook the iPad Mini, the first generation. And Apple's keeping them out there. I know I've seen some people out there talking about, well, there's just too many iPads now to choose from. I love having choices. So the iPad Mini original version is now only $249 for a 16 gigabytes. They're not making them any bigger than that. And there's just so much you can do with that, from still photography, animations, you know the story I preach. But now for $249, and then maybe spend another, $100, $150 on accessories, the iOgrapher, tripod, some lenses, maybe some microphones, and maybe you're looking under $500 for a really good piece of equipment that you can do great content with. And I think it's going to be great for schools, etc. So really excited about that. If you want to step it up to the Retina and some bigger space, I mean, $349 now for the iPad Mini 2. So that's super cool. And then the iPad Mini 3 going to the 128 gig size for $599. I think that's tremendous. So we're excited. I'm 99.9% sure the iPad Mini 3 is going to fit in our current case, and I will let you know this week in the next podcast because I'm going to do some demos and stuff on that for YouTube to show you guys what's going on. So super cool announcements from Apple this week. Love the new iMac with 5K display. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So whoever thought? Really cool stuff. So let's get on with the show. Let's talk about the app of the week.
It's time for the app of the week.
The app of the week this week is, of course, since I have them on the show, it's SwitcherStudio. It's been our app that we've been using to film our news team Titan Talk show, where we've got three iPads that we're shooting. I could have a fourth one if I wanted to. It shoots up to 4 different devices. You can get it for free. Go to SwitcherStudio.com or look for SwitcherStudio Basic on iTunes. So you can do totally free. You can stream up to 30 minutes of video per day and using their basic. And if you're ready to go bigger, there's SwitcherStudio Pro, which lets you stream in high definition, has all kinds of other things that it can do, including SwitcherCast, which is an app for your laptop. I believe it's only Mac right now, and we'll listen in the interview later, but so you can actually put, if you're doing a presentation, one of your inputs can be your laptop, so you can use that, and the other 3 can be cameras. So that's great for business or school or whatever. And also it plugs into HDMI and VGA for output. So if you want to do, and also Apple Air, so you could stream what you're doing on the switcher to a projector or whatever. But man, it's just amazing. So $500 a year for that, or $49 a month. It is tremendous. They have educational discounts as well. So get in touch with them there. So that is my app of the week, SwitcherStudio Basic. Check it out. It's free. Get it. Hook up your multiple iOS devices, test it out, and go, wow, I've got a multi-camera operation in my backpack. So I think you'll flip as I have. Okay, so let's talk about the accessory of the week now.
And now the iOgrapher must-have accessory. Get it now.
This week, we have a killer accessory. I think I said this week. This week, we have a killer accessory. It is called the Turtleback DSLR mount, and it is amazing. A lot of people I always say a lot of people. I apologize for that. It's not very good English. A lot of people ask me all the time, how do you get that cool depth of field look that you talk about all the time? How do I use DSLR mounts, etc., DSLR lenses? So here's the secret, folks. It's a adapter called the Turtleback SLR mount, and it allows you to put on either Nikon or Canon lenses. So anything that mounts to those. It is super cool. The website is turtleback.hk. It's a gentleman out of Hong Kong. I've been in touch with him because I want to sell these on the iOgrapher website. But here's a little secret. You can go to photojojo.com, and I love PhotoJojo because they actually are resellers for iOgrapher. Photojojo.com has these on sale. They're regularly $249. They're selling them for $175. I've actually bought about 4 of them just to have them because I love them, and my students love using them too. And they have them up there. It says the iPhone SLR mount. So it basically comes with this metal case for your iPhone that you probably won't want to use, because you can use our case and put other accessories on it and have handles as well. But basically what you need is this little adapter that it comes with, and that mounts onto the iOgrapher. It's all standard 37mm threading, so any of the iOgraphers will fit this. And I personally use it with the iPhone and with the iPad Air too. iPad Air, not iPad Air 2, I don't have it yet. iPad Air. So check it out. That is our accessory of the week. And without further ado, let's get into our guest of the week, who is Nick Mattingly. Here we go.
And now get ready for the iOgrapher special guest.
Everybody, Dave Basulto here, the iOgrapher podcast. So excited to have my second guest ever on the show, a wonderful guy, Nick Mattingly. He's the CEO and founder of SwitcherStudio.com. Hello, Nick.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm so happy to have you on the show. I've sent you a million emails, and we've talked on the phone, and I've just sent you accolades because as a high school media teacher using iPads, you've really enabled us to become like a professional broadcasting studio. For those of you who don't know out there, SwitcherStudio is a multi-camera, and I'll put quotation marks, camera, because they're iPads, but they still have cameras. And we're able to connect 4 devices all over Wi-Fi, and using one of them as a switcher. So, Nick, how did you get into this space? What made you, tell us some background on Nick Mattingly.
All right. Well, I've spent the past 4 or 5 years doing consulting for online video companies that want to do live broadcasts on the web. And so we would help them identify the equipment they need and set up workshops and training on how all those pieces work together, whether it's computers, capture cards, cameras, all the settings that go between all of those. We help them identify the streaming platforms that are out there, whether it's Ustream, Livestream, YouTube. There's a ton of other guys as well, and then we provide support on the back end. On the streaming platform, we were working with another vendor for video delivery that allowed people to do password protection, and they could set up paywalls and insert their own ads. So there were a lot of benefits to moving people into that space versus some of the freemium models. And that's where we were really making most of our money in that process, was on the streaming side. But we still had to do all these other pieces before we could ever get them to start broadcasting. And with the traditional model, you've got a lot of equipment, and it's really expensive, and it's really complicated. And if any one setting is out of whack, the whole thing falls apart. So we were trying to look for a way to make it easier and more affordable for people to start. Because we would talk to small market radio stations, community TV stations, small media groups, schools, and they would get so fired up about doing live video. Like, this is great. Why aren't we doing this? And then it came back to, well, this is really expensive. This is a lot of equipment. How's it all work together? Who's going to run it? We've had some clients that essentially had to create a position just to be able to do live video because there was so much that they had to put into it. And the people that we have worked with that do live video have really capitalized on that, and they find we've had clients that comment that when they don't cover something, people are asking, what's going on, or why aren't you doing this? When's the next thing? And so we were looking for a solution, and that's how SwitcherStudio happened. We took out all the other hardware. Now you can just use your iPhone or your iPad. It's completely modular. You just fire up another device. There's no other pieces. They all talk over Wi-Fi. And I mean, really, download the app. As long as you have an iOS device, you can be broadcasting. And if you want to do another camera, just launch the app on another device and you're good to go.
I mean, you literally can be, I could be at a conference and say, hey, you guys, I know I just met you, but I see you have an iPhone or an iPad. Will you download this really quick? And I want you to be a camera for me as I stream this or something. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's insane how it's democratized. And you talked about some of the other things that you did. Going back for me, using things like the TriCaster, which my school bought because we were going to stream football games using our Canon XJ1 cameras, all wired and with SDI wiring, and just going all over the campus trying to run 100, 200 yards of wiring. Had this all done, excited to use it. We plug it in and it wouldn't work. And the big reason was we found out that from the TriCaster people was that we didn't have enough power to run the TriCaster and get all the cables for that distance. And so it was like this huge fiasco because I, of course, promised my booster club that, oh, wow, we're going to do it's going to be like ESPN, But lo and behold, flash forward a few years, thank God you come into the picture. And I think I told you Friday night's our big homecoming game, and I'm going to do our 4-camera shoot, streaming over one of the servers that we use, the High School Cube. We've done it already successfully with the SwitcherStudio to YouTube. You've provided some great tutorials on how to do all this stuff. So it's just absolutely amazing. Now features, are you looking into things in the future like overlays, if you want to add lower thirds, things like that? I know there's some workarounds now. Also, is it remotely possible to add more cameras in the future? Not that 4 is not enough, but...
Well, right now we have 2 versions of the app. There's SwitcherStudio Basic and SwitcherStudio Pro. SwitcherStudio Basic you can download for free and broadcast for 30 minutes a day. And you can upgrade that version for $20 a month to unlock it, where you can use it as much as you want, remove the watermark, and get access to all of the transitions and multi-view effects. We have a separate SwitcherStudio Pro app that's $500 a year or $50 a month that allows you to stream as much as you want. It's capable of HD video if your tubes are big enough, if you have enough upload speed. We have a screen sharing app for Mac, so anything you do on your computer you can bring in as a source. You can zoom with the built-in camera. You can overlay images from your camera roll, so any photos or graphics you prepared ahead of time, you can bring those in and use the multi-view effects to integrate those and build compositions for your broadcast. And one of the reasons we've set this up as a software as a service is so we can continue to develop it. If we put Switcher out today, 2 years from now it's obsolete. We really want to keep pushing this, and as more people use it and we get their feedback on what they would like to see improved, what features they would like to see next, that really helps us start to prioritize where to put our efforts. So scoreboard overlays, lower third graphics, those are really high on our list. We're already working on Windows screen sharing, especially for the educational market. Most schools are using Windows computers, so we want to allow them to bring in their presentations and YouTube videos that they're playing and be able to use this in the classroom. Something else that we are currently working on is authentication. So some streaming platforms require a username and password, like Akamai or Dacast. And right now we only take the stream URL and stream name. And so we are currently working on a service outside of the app that will allow you to broadcast video to us and then relay that to other platforms. And then we will also be integrating that into the app in one of our future updates. But we've got a lot of really good feedback from people. We've got a list that's a mile long, and it's never going to get shorter. Even as we start marking them off, we're going to keep adding new ones. So we're really excited to have people start to use it and see what they would like to see next. With that, we're also providing support. So we've built out a knowledge base on the front end with just about every problem we've run into over the past year working on this app. We've built out some tutorial videos. We're going to be punching out a new one every week to kind of give people that visual reference for some of the things we've already covered. And if you have any questions that you can't find online, or you want to talk to a person, shoot us an email, give us a phone call. We're here to help.
Yeah, and I'm to attest to that because I get really fast emails back from you guys. How does this work? Oh yeah, okay, thank you. Which I don't do that often because it's such an easy piece of software to use, or an app, I should say, to use. Something else that, we talked a lot about sports, school situations, but I'm actually going to be presenting this whole workflow at Streaming Media West, which is in November 18th. Doing a workshop, and I'm actually going to show more towards the enterprise space. I think I'm going to have myself up there. I'm going to have connected to my laptop as well to show my screen. I'm going to put another angle out there, and then I'm going to put one out for the people who want to do, come and ask questions, so that they'll have their own mic. And you can switch. One of the things that's cool is I can switch and choose. I want this microphone for this shot, this microphone for that shot. It's very customizable. And I just think, it's such out of the box. You could literally have a small backpack carrying 4 devices and be a multi-camera streaming shoot anywhere you want.
We've gone to events. I'll walk in with a laptop bag and tripods, and I've got a 3-camera setup in 10 minutes.
Right.
It's really, really easy and super compact. We're actually taking a trip across the pond. We're going to be in London
Great.
first part of November, helping produce an event. And if we had to rely on our traditional setup, we could do it, but it would be much more expensive, and we'd have a lot more equipment to worry about.
Yep.
And this really makes those kinds of productions possible. In regards to the audio, currently you do have to bring all of your audio through the main mixing device.
Okay.
So think of audio as you traditionally would for any event. As long as you're running a mixer, you have everything potted in.
Right.
As long as it's going to that main interface, you'll be able to cue that and switch to
Right.
it.
That's what I was saying. Yep.
One of the features that we may add, that's on the list is we've got somebody that's at the end of the field and we want to do an interview.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we can't use the audio from that camera. It would have to be run through a separate interface, but that's a feature that you could see in SwitcherStudio Pro down the road.
Right. That's what I was saying. That's great. One of the cool things, I think I told you about this earlier, but I was in Boston meeting with the Celtics about using our iographers, which was kind of a cool thing, but also I'm a Lakers fan, so it was a little weird. And the meeting was going great, but it became an overdrive, super amazing meeting once I showed them, let me show you, bring out my phone and connect all these cameras together. And they were just like, whoa, oh my God, we could use it for this, we could use it for, And so they just got so excited about that. And I'm actually going to see them in November again. But I can see this being something used in pro sports as well, and college, just because it's an impromptu, setup in minutes, like you said, stream. But let's talk about this too. You don't have to stream. You can just use it as a 4-camera shoot and archive it. Maybe talk about how that all works. Does everything proxy over? How does it all get to the main iPad?
Right. So the app is built so that you can produce live content. But you might not always have the best internet connection. You may not be able to actually broadcast where other people can watch in real time. You can still sync devices over Wi-Fi or fire up the hotspot on your phone and use that as your own network and create your production on the fly, make real-time edits, and everything that happens in that top right output pane gets captured. We don't currently log each individual source. You can't go back and trim sources or move things out, but if you prep ahead of time or you're paying attention to the production, as you make those edits, everything is captured. So as soon as it's over, you have a finished product. And then you can turn around, even from within the app, you can directly upload to YouTube or move it to iMovie on your iPad to make edits and add overlays or make cuts. So it's intended for live video, but it's also a very powerful tool for turning around content very quickly, even if you're just recording.
And that's actually something that helped me tremendously. At our school, we do a show called Titan Talk, and we were doing 3-camera shoots before, and we actually were doing just iPads, and we would bring them into Final Cut later and sync them all up and edit them and add lower thirds. And literally now we do exactly what you said. I'll send one of the kids home with the iPad that's got the finished product on it. They'll go into iMovie on the iPad, add lower thirds, whatever, and I get the thing literally the next day, and it's so much faster. So what a great workflow.
Awesome. We actually did a production for a concert here in Louisville this past weekend. There's a rapper called MC Lars that's from the Bay Area, and he does electronic music, and it's intellectual rap. He raps about Edgar Allan Poe and Shakespeare, and it's a really interesting genre, super sharp guy. But we did a multi-camera interview before his show using Switcher, and during the performance, we fired up the hotspot on our phone, and we had a camera in the back of the room. And one of the opening acts, the guy actually grabbed my cell phone and shot video of himself and the crowd while he was rapping. And there's no wires. He just went.
That's so amazing.
And it worked flawlessly. You get perspectives that you never would have been able to before.
Yep.
And when we show other people this app, it's so incredible to see the expression on their face when they realize the possibilities, because they think of things that we never would have imagined. And I think that's the really cool thing about this is, we say, it's great for education, or it's great for athletics, it's great for conferences and meetings. I really think because of how easy this is and because of the price point, we're going to see people create video in ways that we've never imagined. Because the alternative before was to spend $10,000 to $30,000 on equipment or do absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. And now you have a TV studio in your pocket.
I mean, I'm showing, we have an assignment coming up in a few weeks with my kids to do a music video and having to do it with 4 different angles. So we're definitely going to use this because it's it's such an easy method to teach. But they're learning professional switching, which angle's that? Let's go to this, cut to this, let's cut to that. One of the cool things about my kids when they're doing the football games is they have their headsets on, they're connecting down to the bottom. I hear my director saying, okay, look, it's a timeout, camera 1, go over to the coach. I wanted to get that angle. Okay, we're going live to you and go. And it's like these kids that are, 17, 16 years old are like becoming professional directors. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, and it's awesome that you're all using headsets. One functionality that we have in the app, I'm sure you've noticed, even if you can't verbally communicate, there's a tally light that shows up on devices. So as the producer or the person that's making the switches, when you cue a source, the person operating that camera actually has a visual cue that shows that they are the video on deck.
Right.
And once that producer switches to that shot and it's what is actually being output or captured, that tally light changes to red. So without even verbally communicating, other people operating those devices know when their video is queued and when they're live and when not to mess up.
No.
And I mean, there's little pieces that we've added in to really try and make this a professional tool, and we're only going to keep adding.
It absolutely is a professional tool. People, SwitcherStudio. Nick, where can they find you? Where can they find information? Tell us all about that.
Go to SwitcherStudio.com. It's all there.
Facebook page?
We have Facebook, Twitter, hashtag SwitcherStudio. If you're producing content, you're putting something out there, we want to see what you're doing. We want to start aggregating this content and share your story. So if you're using the free versions to try it out or you're putting something out there, please hashtag SwitcherStudio. Let us know. We really want to see how people are using this.
Fantastic. Nick, thanks for being on the show today. Super excited. Can't wait to spread the word about this. You guys have an awesome thing. And just on the side, I'm trying to get Nick to come out to the NAB show, do something really fun with us there. I think we're a great match, so we'll let you know more about that soon. So this is the iOgrapher Podcast. Nick Mattingly, SwitcherStudio.com. Thank you for being here.
Thanks. Take care.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to the iOgrapher Podcast. Please subscribe and rate our show on iTunes. For comments or questions, please tweet us at iOgrapher or visit us on facebook.com/iOgrapher. iOgrapher Nation, get out there and create.